Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 117. When we last left our heroes, Shiki and the gang were confronted by Mora's two associates, Orc and Brittany. Before they could really start a fight, Shiki was able to free the rest of the group from the glue, but a bunch of drones showed up and bombed the forest, which separated the group. Wise escaped back to the Eden Zero to help deal with Ziggy's virus, while the other three got paired off in fairly traditional shonen battles with Homura versus Mora, Rebecca versus Brittany, and Shiki versus Orc, which seems to be the focus of this week's chapter, Chapter 117, Shiki versus Orc. And our picture here is of, like, at a festival or a fair or something, a dog licking a hermit's cheek. It's pretty cute, I will say. Anyway, we open where we left off, with Orc sitting on the drone, and staring Shiki down, and Shiki glares up at him. And Orc grabs, the drone with his hand. His hand, by the way, is fleshy. Natural. It looks like it's a normal arm. But then it turns metal once it touches the drone. He rips part of it off. Or no, he just picks it up and flings it at Shiki. Shiki ducks, and the drone explodes behind him. Orc zooms at Shiki. Shiki readies his own fist with his ether gear ready, and the two fists collide. And Orc is blown back. That was a really heavy punch, which makes sense given the gravity of Shiki's powers. But and his arm seemed to transform into this like Gatling gun looking thing. Yeah, he just shoots Shiki, presumably with ether blasts because Shiki survives. But he's hit like square in the chest. Blast Man arm has ether bullets. Yep, they are ether bullets. And Shiki, like, jumps out of the way. He takes a couple of hits, but he's mostly fine. And, like, zigzags between the ether bullets. You're fast. And Shiki gets closer to him. I see. You're falling in the direction you want to go. So yeah, Shiki's using his powers to control his direction and speed. And he's now falling straight towards Orc and kicks him. Rah! Orc is sent flying back, but he catches himself really easily, and he lands on the ground. Where in the cosmos did you get that power? Which presumably we're gonna get a little bit of info on Shora here, because Orc's really been the one who's been mentioning Shora, and that Shiki's powers are similar to Shora. Anyway. Shiki answers, Grandpa taught it to me. And Orc asks, Grandpa? The Demon King Ziggy. He's tough and he's really strict, but he's actually really nice. And Shiki's already crying. What a king. What a king, Shiki. And he taught me about the importance of having friends. And Orc just asks, what are the tears for? And Orc thinks, but that means it is Ziggy's power. And Shiki wipes his tears away. Dang it. That's why I can't believe it. I still can't believe Grandpa's gone crazy. So yeah, in case it wasn't, like, this top panel on page 8 is not just making fun of Shiki for how obsessed with friends he is. It's specifically a reaction to Ziggy's betrayal. Though Orc, without all of that, I like that we focus on Orc in the immediate aftermath of Shiki's outburst, just because, like, it allows us to take a step back as, you know, without all of the context of what Ziggy has done to Shiki, it is pretty funny. Anyway, Shiki dashes towards Orc. I can't help thinking there has to be some reason for it. And Orc counters, whatever the reason, you saw what he did to this planet. Excuse me. He took over the machines, killed the humans, and burned up the forest. Ziggy did all of this. His evil is truly worthy of the name Demon King. So yeah, another thing I do like here is with the exception of Mora, who's just kind of a dick. It's easy to see at least Orc's side of this. See the Poseidon Nero angle here. Ziggy did come in here and he's kills a bunch of people. He's, brainwashed the robots. To them, it's not like Draken, where it's like that's the mob. Nero here is like running a government, and Ziggy's like, you know, um, committing acts of terrorism in his territory, and so of course he's going to act like this. It's a nice change of pace compared to the villains we've had in the past, who were just very like blanket evil. Nero has some, at least like a lawful evil, if not like lawful neutral, um, on an alignment chart. Anyway, Shiki just glares at him, and Orc continues, "So we're going to kill every android on this planet," and he hits Shiki again, "to protect the humans." Um, well, we're maybe this next part is veering back into lawful evil. Then, to show Ziggy what happens when you try to start a rebellion, we're going to destroy all the robots. Yeah, this is leaning right back into lawful evil. But still lawful. That is the fate of the Aoi Cosmos, decreed by Poseidon Nero. And we see Orc stands tall as Shiki's battered, lying in a heap on the ground, and he just mutters out, "Poseidon Nero. Oh yeah, I guess I hadn't mentioned that. We are Poseidon Nero's commando team, Beast, and we're on a mission to purge this planet." Which like we knew, but I guess no one else in the cast really had been told what they were here for. Meanwhile, with the other two fights, Brittany tells Rebecca, we will remove anyone who stands in our way. And Mora tells Homura, "And anyone who dares defy us." And then Brittany blasts off towards Rebecca, "Will be deemed an enemy to his Imperial Majesty, the great Poseidon Nero." And Pino tells Rebecca, "She's converted her body into gas." And Rebecca just starts shooting. What is she? Do you really think bullets will work on smoke? And the bullets just pass right through her. Which is the same problem Homer is going to have with Mora if she's not careful. "My ether gear is smoke bar. No one can catch me." And that shocks Rebecca, given that she has no way to stop gas. Except, maybe there's some application of Leaper that could work, maybe? And she passes through Rebecca, spark heaven, which, maybe she's like a cloud here? Because she electrocutes Rebecca, like a bolt of lightning. And same with Happy and Pino. Electrically charged smoke! And Brittany looks back at them. "I'm detecting a drop in ether. You were just small fry." Which means probably Leaper isn't activated right now, right? Or, because normally Rebecca's ether level seems small, like that when she's activated Leaper, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, we then move on to Homura versus Mora. As Homura says, "First I must find a place free of fire. I cannot call upon my full powers here." And Mora jumps off the tree limb to land. "I like the sound of that." And Homura realizes what she's done. "Oh no, I spoke my thoughts again." And Mora continues, "Because I just love kicking people when they're down." So while Orc and presumably Nero are much more on the lawful evil side of the spectrum, Mora's just kind of a dick. So he's just a lot. Anyway, Mora readies his glue cannon, but Homura readies her blade. "I will not fall to the same trick twice." And Homura slices the glue. Slices, or deflects it with her ether sword, I guess, to make it all not hit her, is the important part. And Mora asks, "Oh, is it? But my glue tier can do this, too." And he slams his cane on the ground, and he holds it up, and the end is flaming. hot melt. And the glue heats up. And then little drops of hot glue hit Homura. Which is not a great move for her. Ah, hot! 'Tis hot! And Mora just laughs as we cut back to Shiki and Orc. So nothing is going well for anyone right now. Shiki, though, is in the best spot, as he can at least actually do damage to his opponents. But anyway, Shiki kind of pulls himself back up, still shaking. Grandpa was my family. If my family is doing something wrong, it's my job to stop them. But Orc counters, no, His Majesty will stop him. And we see, Shiki's going into his overflow. Because we see his fist starts to turn black. But what you guys are doing is at least as evil as what Grandpa did. But Orc tries to argue, we are protecting humans. And Shiki just snaps, I'm gonna protect robots too. And yeah, Shiki is already full on overflow. Because when you're friends, it doesn't matter if you're human or machine. And he just slugs Orc. Is Orc gonna be down after this one hit? What happened to your gravity? It's different than before. This is your ether's critical point. You can overdrive? Right, I said overflow earlier. It's definitely overdrive. That's my bad. And Shiki readies another fist. Magimech attack. Meteor breaker! And he slams with the full force of a meteor breaker. As Orc just goes flying. And that is the end of the chapter. So yeah, this is really just a fight chapter. On the one hand, though, we do see, like I said, a little bit of Nero's argument that you can almost follow up to a point until he's like, we're going to kill every robot in the cosmos. And that's like, hold up, take a step back. I can see, take out the robots on Foresta if they're like too far gone, but the entire cosmos? That's just too evil. He was almost a lawful neutral, and he plummeted down to lawful evil with that line. But still, again, he has more of a case than any other villain. It's a little bit less cut and dry. It's still fairly cut and dry by the end of it, but it's not entirely cut and dry. Like Draken was just like, he wants money and life. Kurenai wants money and sex. Nero is, ruling a territory. And it's a very different sense. His goals, his methods are all very different than villains we've seen in the past. But then, yeah, the big question is, what kind of powers can Rebecca and Homura use against their opponents, given that they aren't exactly solids? As far as, like I mentioned in the past, maybe Laguna is a good choice to fight Mora, given that, he could possibly, make Mora turn to water, if you can, get him to cry for a moment. But Rebecca and Homer are both kind of ill-equipped to deal with their opponents, which then leads us to the end of the Shiki fight. And I will say, I'm not sure that it's over. I can see it being over here. I think, it very well could be over, his fight with Orc. The Meteor Breaker, his strongest move that took down Draken, right? That was the move that took down Draken, right? It's been a while. I don't remember the exact move that did it. But, his overflow form that took down Draken wasn't enough to just easily take out Orc. Alright. But also I could see it not being over. I think it also works thematically. The way that these last few pages are written like a finale to a fight, especially against a low level henchman like Orc. But also I could see Orc getting up again. I don't know. we'll have to see next week. Anyway, the chapter is fun. It's a really good fight chapter, specifically the Shiki orc stuff. We only get a little bit of Rebecca and Homura's fights, and those are just kind of laying out problems for our protagonists, as they aren't really well equipped to deal with either of them. But yeah, Shiki at least is able to take down Orc. And like I said, last chapter, that would definitely be the easiest fight, just because Orc is a solid, which can't be said for Mora or Brittany. But yeah, it was a fun chapter, and I'm excited to see how we deal with Mora and Brittany next time. So anyway, so that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!